Hey, so earlier this week, we shared a story about Taylor Swift's car collection. When we got the idea to do this story, we didn't realize how much of a car girl she really is. Now, she's not the kind of car girl who does her own fixing and wrenching and modifying and that kind of thing. She's more of a practical car owner and looking for a car for the same reasons that we all do, which is one of the things we really loved about this story. She looks for cars that are practical and reasonable, that have space for everyone, that don't cost a fortune, that are a reasonable thing to buy. In fact, of her cars in her car collection, most of them are the same kinds of cars that we all have in our driveways. But we did notice that there's some alternatives to the cars that she has. Maybe it's not exactly the right car for you, but something that speaks to her might speak to you. And so we also came up with some alternatives to Taylor Swift's cars in case you like the idea, but it's not exactly the right thing for you. We have some options for you as well. So let's take a look at Taylor Swift's car collection. So the first car that we highlighted in Taylor Swift's car collection is a convertible Lexus. And if you might remember, there was a story, now this is going back a ways, when Taylor Swift got her first big contract, she got her first big paycheck. And what did she do? She went out and bought a brand new car. Not only any brand new car, she bought a brand new Lexus convertible. And the reason that she bought a Lexus convertible was because that's what Regina George drove in Mean Girls. And Taylor Swift wanted to prove to all the mean girls in her world, those who said she couldn't do it, that, well, yes, of course she could. So the car that she bought was an SC 450, I believe. That one is, you could buy it used. It's probably going to have quite a few miles on it. But if you're thinking about a revenge purchase and you want the most current Lexus, look at the LC 500. The Lexus LC 500 has a V8 engine. It puts out 471 horsepower. It comes in a convertible. You can also get it in a hybrid. And the price tag starts at a little over $100,000. But hey, what's $100,000 when you have it to spend to show everyone just exactly how successful you are? The next car that we came up with in our search also was an early one in the Taylor Swift car ownership era. And that was a Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck that her record company bought for her when she hit that first milestone. Of course, it was pink, and not sure that she'd be driving a pink pickup truck anymore. Not sure that we would either, but we do love the Chevrolet Silverado. So the Chevrolet Silverado just underwent a renaissance. It has a new look. It has some new technology, and it has a TurboMax engine, which is what Chevrolet is calling their powerful four-cylinder. Think about that, a pickup truck with a four-cylinder engine, but you can get it in a V8 and you can get it in a diesel. Silverado has a price tag that starts at about $37,000 and it goes up to about $72,000. It can be pricey. It's also a really big pickup truck. So if that full-size Silverado is really not your cup of tea, we recommend that you look at the Chevy Colorado, which is a mid-size pickup truck. It's a smaller. It's a little more compact. And it also has a more compact price tag. It starts at about $30,000 and goes up to about $48,000, and it has a four-cylinder, 237 horsepower engine, or you can go with that same TurboMax that puts out 310 horsepower. And by the way, take a look at our Chevy Colorado video. We actually took it off-road. We put it through quite a lot of tests in our test drive, and it performs beautifully. If you don't really need that full-size pickup truck, the Colorado is an excellent option. This is the Z71 edition that we're test driving. It has a new face, it has new lights, it has a totally new look to it, and it has four-wheel drive. The two bottom trims, the WT and the LT, have all-wheel drive standard, although you can upgrade quite a lot of things on those trucks. But we're going to focus on the Z71 Colorado that we have here and what is new for 2023. So all versions have the crew cab and the 5-foot bed. That means there's seating for 5 passengers and there's plenty of cargo space. Chevy also did this, and this is something that Colorado buyers are going to love. That is a multi-function lift gate. Now this is something that we've seen. You just flip these little levers here on the lift gate to unlock the party box. So this panel opens up. You could leave things in here all the time, tools or something like that. You can fill it with ice and food, or beverages or whatever you like. There is a drain in here, so you're able to let all the liquid out when you're done using the party box. Then there are a couple of other nice little details on this lift gate. One is there is a yardstick here, so you get, it's actually a 1.3 yard stick. And then there is this nice little feature here that you can, little guide here for these straps to hold the lift gate at an angle. So if you had something, for some reason, you needed to have a little extra space and some reason needed to have this open about halfway, you could do that. We also have tie downs in the back. There are 8, and there is a 12-volt household outlet here. There's a light and an opening window on the rear passenger window, and a nice big Chevy badge right in the middle. The next car that we love, we love that Taylor Swift bought this one, and this is the Toyota Sequoia. So the Toyota Sequoia has been a staple of family drivers for a very long time, a couple decades. And it's really large. It seats 8 passengers. It has a lot of power. It has that tow capacity. It has room for everything and everyone that you need. And it's really ideal for off-roading. And that's what's so interesting about the Toyota Sequoia, is it is perfect for off-roading. Now, it's also expensive. It has a price tag that starts around $61,000 and it goes up to $73,000. And all of the iterations of the Toyota Sequoia are powered by Toyota's iForce Max engine, which is a 6-cylinder hybrid, and it puts out 293 horsepower. You can get an all-wheel drive, you can get it in front-wheel drive, and for it to do what you really needed to do, you need 4-wheel drive, which it has.
Just visually, it's a lot of fun to look at. I love these LED headlights, and of course you've got the 3 lights here, which I believe is like a legal standard for something that's this wide. They have to have that. You've got the Toyota grill here, which looks pretty nice. These little guys aren't actual vents. They're just for show. I found that out, but I still think they look cool. The one thing that I did want to point out from the outside that I know I have mentioned and will mention some more, that I'm maybe not the biggest fan of, if I had to change something, these side view mirrors, as you can tell, they are very large, very wide. They almost look like an arm standing out like this, right? These are special option towing mirrors. So if it were me, I would go without that option because they create giant blind spots. And now the rain is really starting to come down, so we'll go to the back and just check out the back here real fast. I love the Sequoia badging down here. Kind of reminds me of our car. We drive a Kia Telluride. I love how it looks just with the name down like that. And then, like, you can see the LED taillights as well. Looks really clean on the back. And my favorite feature, of course it's not gonna work now. Take 2. My favorite feature, okay, storage space. It's not a whole lot, if I'm being honest. I probably expected it to be a little bit more. But I will say that It is really easy to just push these down, but you can see that when you lay these flat, they don't go down any farther than this. So you either have to just pile things on top right here, or you get a little creative, and Toyota did something a little different. They've got this little pull-out shelf, which kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, the like refrigerator drawer shelves type of a thing where you can adjust the height of it.
But for that off-roading capability and all the passengers, we recommend that you take a look at the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. So this is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but it has a third row, so it seats 6 or 7 passengers. It's not quite as large as the Sequoia, but it is equally as capable. In fact, Jeep has rigorously tested the Grand Cherokee L to make sure that it has the ground clearance, it has the undercarriage skid plates, it has the suspension, it has all the things that you need to do to go anywhere that the Grand Cherokee can go, which is pretty much anywhere the Sequoia can go, but at a much lower price. So the Grand Cherokee starts at $36,000 and tops out at $67,000, which is just slightly more expensive than the base model of the Sequoia. There are probably not 2 cars that you would think of back to back, looking at them back to back, but we highly recommend it. We've driven both. We love both, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee L is going to surprise you, especially if you need room in the third row for more passengers. Now let's talk about the Porsche 911. If you were a fan of Taylor Swift during her Taylor Lautner years, then you'll remember seeing her in the passenger side of Taylor Lautner's Porsche 911. But rumor has it that that's a car and its performance that Taylor Swift also fell in love with. So now this is a true Hollywood style car. It is expensive, it's powerful, and it's demanding of the driver. The Porsche 911 that Taylor Swift is rumored to own is a Porsche 911 Turbo. That's a slightly more powerful version than the base model Porsche 911, but it has an engine that puts out 640 horsepower and priced at about $200,000. So it also very much has that Hollywood style price tag. Now, if that's way too much car and way too much money for you, here's what we recommend, which is, again, a Toyota and a fun sort of best kept secret everywhere. Enthusiasts love this car, and I'm going to tell you why. Drivers love this car, and you'll know why in a second. The Toyota Supra, or the Toyota GR Supra, which is really the way to go. So the Toyota GR Supra was developed for racetracks, not only in Japan where it was developed, but also the best racetracks in the world, which are in Germany. It was designed for those racetracks and designed for really comfortable, really beautiful on-road driving wherever you would live. But here's why people love it. The engine was actually co-developed with BMW, and it's the same engine that's in the BMW Z4, but at a better price. So the Toyota Supra, there's 2 engine versions. There's a 4-cylinder turbo that generates 255 horsepower, and there's a 6-cylinder turbo that generates 382 horsepower, priced from $46,000 to about $56,000. It is hard to get a performance engine from BMW in that price range. Forget about Porsche at that price range. I mean, there's not a Porsche that starts under $100,000, and the Toyota GR Supra starts at 46. So if you really want the performance, go for that 6-cylinder, 382 horsepower. It is delightful, and it's like a best kept secret. It's really what Toyota Supra owners don't want you to know is what a great little car that is.
The A91 Supra has been out for a couple years now, but since day one, enthusiasts have been asking for this car to have a manual transmission. I mean, after all, it's a Supra. How can you have a Supra without a manual? Well, that day is finally here. Since that first year of this new Supra, Toyota has been working on developing a manual transmission designed specifically for this car. This is not pulled out of another car and slapped in the Supra. This transmission is tuned for the A91 Supra, and it is fantastic.
Next on our list of cars that have Taylor Swift's stamp of approval, the Mercedes-Benz G Wagen. Now, we have seen this throughout Hollywood. It's a staple when celebrities are running from the paparazzi. And there's a good reason why. First of all, it is four-wheel drive. It has a powerful V8 engine. There's powerful and then more powerful. So it carries a hefty price. It starts at almost $200,000 and goes way up from there. It carries a V8 443 horsepower engine, or you can opt for the AMG edition, which carries a V8 bi-turbo or a twin turbo that puts out 585 horsepower. One of the reasons that celebrities love this car is that you can install bulletproof glass and you can install paparazzi-proof glass with some shading, with some tint on the window, which is a great thing. There's not a lot of need to customize much after Mercedes gave it a really good makeover a few years ago. They added the top of the line features that they offer in all of their cars in the G Wagen first. So even if you went for a used model, you probably still would be able to get full technology and a really great experience. Unfortunately, even a used model still carries a really high price tag. So if you were to go for something that was as equally capable with four-wheel drive, the high ground clearance, really iconic and beautiful, our recommendation for the alternative to the G Wagen is the Bronco, the Ford Bronco. So this has been the hot car of the last few years. And Bronco offers not only some nice options when it comes to the engine size, but also some nice options when it comes to pricing. So it starts at about $35,000, and that gets you a 4-cylinder, 2.7 liter. You can move up to the 6-cylinder, which generates 330 horsepower. Or you can go up to it's also a 6-cylinder, but has a much turbo, the V6 turbo in the Raptor edition. And that puts out 418 horsepower, but it carries a much higher price tag at about $95,000. Still, you can still buy two of the highest priced Ford Bronco Raptors for one of those G Wagons. So in our mind, that's a pretty good deal. The Bronco Raptor looks beautiful. It is such a badass SUV. We think there is no short shrift in driving that versus the G Wagen. The Bronco that we're in is the base model outfitted with the Sasquatch package. Sasquatch means it is the ultimate for off-roading. It's got the bigger wheels, it's got the bigger tires, it has the bigger shocks, it has the bigger everything. So you really can go off-road in this and go anywhere off-road, not just your average trails, which most people don't ever do, but clearly more thinking about doing that because this car is in such high demand. So it has the blacked out Bronco nameplate here across the front, and these round headlights, the round headlights plus the daytime running lights here, which are really a signature, and it harkens back to the GP, or the General Performance SUV that the Jeep was based on and Land Rover is based on. So no one really owns that GP, and Bronco is bringing that idea here. Now there are tie downs here if you need to tie something down to the hood. These are our huge tires. Look how big they are. I'm 5'8", and these are like hip height. So, and then mirrors. I want you to note that the mirrors are actually attached to the hood and not to the door. Usually your doors the mirrors are usually attached to your doors, but here they're not, because these doors are designed to come off. So if you take the doors off, you still have your mirrors, which is a really great feature. Back here, you'll notice we have the spare tire mounted on the rear door. There's the Bronco logo right there. And the door swings out and the glass opens up. It just flips. Super easy. There's not even a latch on it. This gives you great access to everything that you need to have in the cargo area. Of course, the seats will fold down if you need extra space, but this makes it really easy to get things in the cargo area. And then if you've got a Yeti cooler or something in here and you don't want to open the lift gate, you can just reach in and get what you need, which is kind of a nice feature. Under the cargo floor here, a little bit of storage space and a jack in case you need to access the, in case you need to replace a tire. You see your jack is right there in case you need to change a tire, which if you're off-roading, that might be a thing. And so what is Taylor Swift to drive when she has truly arrived? Well, of course, a Range Rover. So we just spent some time in the Range Rover, actually quite a bit over the last year, since it has gotten a complete top to bottom makeover. And there are Range Rovers for every appetite. However, I will say opening price is still $100,000. You can go up to over $200,000 for the autograph edition, which is top of the line, everything, every feature, every detail, leather everywhere. It's quite beautiful. And then Range Rover gives you some engine options. There is a 6-cylinder that produces 394 horsepower, or you can go to the V8 that produces more than 600 horsepower. And you can even add a third row in the long wheelbase edition that seats 7 passengers. So you have a lot of options in that Range Rover.
One of the things I'm really excited to show you is this sunset gold satin finish paint job. It's classic. It will take you anywhere, day or night. It looks gorgeous. Not to be outdone by the satin paint job are the black accents on the grille, also on the wheels, and my slightly dusty running boards. We've been doing a little bit of off-roading, which we'll talk about later. One of the other features that's so fun are these flush door handles that pop out for you to open the door, but when you're driving, they tuck in and look really sleek. One of the things that Range Rover has executed so beautifully in this vehicle is their reductionist design ethic. So everything is tucked in, nothing unnecessary, and you can tell from the tail lights, it all just looks like this black trim piece, but when you're driving, of course, the tail lights and brake lights illuminate red.
And it is beautiful. If all of that beautiful Range Rover-ness and that beautiful $200,000 or even $100,000 price tag is too much for you, here's what we recommend as the alternative. This one also says, I've arrived. And it probably says more, I've arrived in adventure than in sophisticated style, but that is the Kia Telluride. This is what everyone loves about the Telluride. It is basically the baby Land Rover. Its lines, its style, the front end, the front grille, all really have that Land Rover, Range Rover look and feel to it, while it still has seating for 7 passengers or 8 passengers, a lot of really great features, leather interior, a really beautiful interior, lots of great technology, and a top price under $55,000. It starts at $36,000. Then it comes in a V6 engine that turns out 291 horsepower.
Been to a professional conference in Arklatex, which is where Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas intersect, and I've had car seats, I've had kids, I've had my girlfriends, I've had a lot of different people in this car, more than I'd usually have driving around, and we've had a lot of adventures so far. I gotta tell you something, I really like this car. I've reviewed a lot of cars, I really like this one, I would buy it, it's hip. It's just got a cool looking vibe, but it's still functional. If you are in the market for a 7-seater SUV, you need functional, but you like a little pizzazz to go along with it. And there are just lots of things I like. We're going to start off in the front seat, and I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I like about driving this car. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the cargo space in the Telluride. So I'm going to open up the back. There's a little button right under there, easy to find. And as you can see, not a huge amount of cargo space, but also it's not skimpy either. I just came back from a road trip, and my road trip packing philosophy is throw it all in the car because you might need it, which is I do not recommend, but all of my stuff fit back here just fine. And this would hold for our family of 4 probably a medium amount of groceries, not the Costco run haul. We'll get to that in a second. And then this cargo space right here, easy to access. And you can hide things, put your Christmas presents. I like to use this for my purse if I'm stopping to go to a park to go for a walk or exercise and you don't want to keep your purse out in full view. But these, this is third row right here, pretty easy to lay it down. You just pull that right there, give that a little gentle push. Same thing on this side. Ta-da! So much space. Now this is your suitcases and your giant Costco pallets of water and whatever else you would want to put back here, and you still have room for 4 people to sit very comfortably. So that's the rear cargo space, and I'm going to go ahead and put them up again just to show you that anybody can do this. It's not anything that really took me any brain power to figure out how the seats come up and down, which is always a good thing. If that still isn't enough space for whatever you're gonna cart around, then these 2 buttons right here. And now you have the full cabin for cargo. If you're buying stuff at Home Depot or helping somebody move, you've got all this space where you can put things.
And so now Taylor Swift has us wondering, what does she drive when she's with Travis Kelce? Well, we'll have to look at that one next time. Be sure to follow along on A Girl's Guide to Cars right here on YouTube. Subscribe to us here. Follow along on our social media channels. Be sure to click on those videos that we shared, actually I think right up here, as we put them into YouTube, because those are videos that we think are going to interest you. And be sure to go over to A Girl's Guide to Cars and check us out over there for all the news. You can sign up for our newsletter. We share more news with you every week. Thanks for joining us.